can already feel the difference and the responsiveness in this bike.
Yo, welcome back to the channel, boys and girls. Today is an exciting one because my TanTan X-34 frame set is finally complete. So before we go ahead and hand this off to my buddy that I mentioned in my previous video, let's go over some of the specs, the components on this, the price point, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on the build as a whole. So without further ado, let's begin. All right, so as I mentioned, guys, in the introduction, this is my brand new TanTan X-34 frame set. As you guys can see, based on the design and aesthetic, this looks very similar to the previous generation Trek Madone. We're gonna call this the Mad 1. Instead of Madone, we're gonna call it the Mad 1 prototype frame set. Now the retail on the frame set alone is about $500 USD plus shipping. Full disclosure, TanTan did send this out to me to test out, and I think if you contact them, I believe they do have a discount code for you for all your frame purchases. But nonetheless, this is a frame set here, guys. It looks really sick. The color is crazy. The color is like this sort of translucent gloss paint job, which kind of lets in some of the carbon bits underneath it. The size you see is a size 58, and yeah, let's continue. Now the size we have here, guys, is a size 58. As I mentioned, it's a size 58 because this bike is not for me. Size 58, really good looking frame. The total weight on this without the power meter pedals is about 7.9 kilograms, which is pretty decent for an aero frame like this, especially at this price point. So we got size 58 frame. The handlebars we have, these are, the width on these is 42 centimeters. The stem length is 110 millimeters. As far as the bar tape that you see, I've actually reviewed these identical bar tape a couple of years ago. It's from a brand called Mark or Marq. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. They're about 25 bucks. They look really cool. They have this cool sort of chameleon color style, and I think it really helps pop with some color on this frame set. So next up, let's talk about the group set. So all in for this entire group set was found for about $260 USD, which is a really good deal considering this is more or less a budget build for an aero bike. But as far as the levers go, we are running Shimano Tiagra hydraulic levers, and then the derailleurs are also Tiagra, and then the chainring out front is a 5339 Ultegra. Like I said, my buddy here, he puts down a lot of power, so he definitely needs those bigger gears when he's doing his all-out sprints. As far as the cassette out back, that is an 11 to 34 cassette, so gives a little bit of a climbing on there as well. Now I know some of you guys are probably going to say, oh no, this is a Tiagra derailleurs and stuff, but honestly, the way I have this set up as far as indexing the gears and the shift quality, it's just as good as mechanical Ultegra, so there should not be any issues with this at all. And I do know other people who are running Tiagra derailleurs with no issues at all, so it's not going to be an issue at all for this bike build. And moving on to the wheels, because this is the ridiculous expensive part of this build. Now, as you guys know, I always say that a good set of high quality wheels can dramatically make the difference of ride quality and performance to your bike. But these are my Far Sports C4 Evo wheels. The depth on these is 54 millimeters. The internal width on them, I believe it's like 19 millimeters. So we're running Continental GP 5000s in a 25C variant. But these wheels, brand new, before they were discontinued, are like $1,600, guys, $1,600. But these things are high quality wheels. They're just as comparable to the bigger name brands out there. You have, of course, the CX Ray spokes. You have ceramic speed bearings in the hub out rear. So I imagine these wheels with this frame, this Madone, this Mad 1, is gonna ride phenomenally. And this saddle, you guys, this saddle is super duper comfortable. I don't know what the brand is, like we call it Boogaloo. I don't know, Boogaloo shrimp, I don't know, but it's about 25 bucks on Amazon. A superior saddle for comfort. I actually run this identical saddle on my gravel bike. It's very, very comfortable. And even though if it's not, you know, the lightest saddle on the market, the fact that it's very comfortable makes up for the little bit of extra weight that you're gonna get, and it's only 25 bucks. Oh, I forgot to mention that we are also rocking a set of Power Tap P1 pedals. This is just the one-sided. I believe the power data comes from the left pedal behind there. But these are a nice touch because by rocking power meter pedals, they're easily able to swap these from bike to bike versus using some sort of a spider-based power meter or a crank-based power meter. These are really nice. They are a little bit on the heavier side, even though this is only a one-sided pedal power meters. I believe these are like 400 grams. So not the lightest thing in the world, but for an aero bike like this, and we're not doing any sort of weight weenie build, I think it makes a lot of sense. Plus, I love the color of the previous generation of Power Tap P2 pedals, being that these are black, because the P2 pedals that I have, these are the P1s. My P2 ones are silver, and it just doesn't really fit the aesthetic of most of my bikes, being that they're black. So overall, I'm really happy the way this build turned out. Now, obviously, having to route 4 cables internally is not the easiest thing in the world, but now that I've been building bikes for like the last 3 years, I'm just happy that I'm able to do this with not too much headache, and I'm happy that I've gotten to the point that I can now build bikes for my friends, because it's really cool. Bikes are so much fun, and I'm always happy when people can have a new bike day. Now, as I mentioned, guys, in my previous video on this TanTan X-34 frame set, I did mention that this bike is going to a local friend of mine, and the reason why we went with this particular setup as far as the choice of group set and things like that is his dream bike is a Trek Madone. The thing is, for different reasons, just the price point doesn't make a lot of sense. Quite frankly, the price of a Madone doesn't make a lot of sense for a lot of people, and so we're going to be using him as the guinea pig to see, based on his current collection of bikes, how this bike is going to perform out on the road. He's going to put it through all of his paces. He's going to do his crazy high power sprints. And then he's going to let me know his feedback, because as much as I love testing bikes myself, and I have a lot of bikes for reference, the reality is there are just some things that, you know, I'm unable to do because of the lack of power I can put out. So I think he's going to be a really good guinea pig. So you guys are wondering who was this bike for? Who was this guy putting out all this crazy power? Let's find out.
Yo, if you guys know, this is Omar, aka Ramo. You guys see me on Strava. I'm everywhere, every group in Chicago. I'm all supporting different people. So hey, I'm gonna really put this bike to the test and see what it has, and you'll hear my honest opinion about the bike later on. I can already feel the difference and the responsiveness in this bike. It is amazing.
So that is going to wrap up today's video, guys. Of course, we will have more feedback later on as he puts this bike through its paces. But as always, questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to leave them down below. And I'm gonna check you guys on the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.